Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, iTunes, and more. Why? Because you know I'm on a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I bring you stories, news, and guests that balance out all the bad news out there with some good news. And I also bring you little known facts about today. And it is National Take the Stairs Day, which is also part of my continuing self-care tips this week. We talked about cleaning out your desk. Well, another way to feel better, even though it's not easy sometimes to walk or bike or exercise or do anything outdoors when you just really don't feel like getting out of your bed. But I can promise you that moving your body, even when you don't feel like, will make you feel better. So that's why we're celebrating today, National Take the Stairs Day, with taking the stairs. My favorite joke about working out is, my bathing suit told me, you better go out and work out. But my sweatpants said, nah, just take a load off. So today, listen to your bathing suit. And for the deliciousness of life, it is National Curried Chicken Day. For those of you who have not tried curry before, as you know, the deliciousness of life is one of my favorite ways to celebrate being alive, is to taste something that you haven't before or enjoy something that is usually on your bad list. I give you permission today to try National Curried Chicken. I love curry. Some people, it's really not their cup of tea. Like my bonus mom, can't stand anything curry. However, I promise you, if you try it, you might like it. And speaking of not being your cup of tea, it's also National Hot Tea Day. So there's two things that you can do and partake of to celebrate the deliciousness of life. And thanks to National Day today, it is also, I couldn't resist, the Feast of Fabulous Wild Men Day. The origins of why it got named this way are unclear, but I'm just going to use it to celebrate all the hot men in the world. Sorry, I could not help that. All right. And when we come back, I'm delighted to spotlight my interview with the enigmatic, say that 3 times, Corey and Courtney Feldman. Yes, he was here not that long ago. For those of you who missed it, I wanted to bring him back because his latest offering, the Love Left 2.1, is available. He's actually invited me tonight for the launch party. So I wanted to highlight this limited edition of not just Corey Feldman as an actor. You may remember Stand By Me, Gremlins, Goonies. He was one of the most celebrated and popular child, teen, young adult actor, and continues now with something that not a lot of people know about, and that's his music. So this collection contains not just film about himself, but his music. All never before published, great, creatively put together with hologram and all. And I wanted to highlight that today. So don't go away. When we come back, it's Corey and Courtney Feldman here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News radio station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including the audio and visual on my YouTube channel, which is a free subscribe. So you'll get an alert at 8 a.m. every weekday morning that a new show's about to drop. And we're at show number 615. So if you want to listen to the past 614, along with my new short film, Post-Pandemic Possibilities, and my red carpet playlist that has fabulous interviews with great stars like Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more, then you'll want to free subscribe there. And as promised, I am spotlighting my second interview with Corey Feldman and Courtney Feldman, his beautiful wife. And like many of my guests, my occupational hazard is becoming friends with my guests, and this is no exception. I just love supporting this beautiful couple, especially Corey, who has had not the easiest time in life. And he shares a little bit more of that here on this particular interview. And you'll definitely want to hear the first interview, which is on my YouTube channel. So without further ado, here are Courtney and Corey Feldman. Enjoy. And welcome, Courtney and Corey Feldman.
We're kind of like ghosts. We're appearing and disappearing. It's very cool. It's an interdimensional kind of time travel thing, but we're here. We're here with you.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you're here. And it's been a California minute. And it's been quite an interesting California. How have you been faring with the pandemic and isolation and everything changed?
Everything changed.
What's the biggest takeaway for you?
Well, that's a big, long one for us. That's a very leading question because we have been on a whirlwind adventure since we last saw you. Oh, wow. Since we last saw you. Sorry, my computer finally decided to turn on. Cut, edit. Anyway, all right. So, yes, we've been on a whirlwind adventure ever since we last saw you because, well, let's see. We were speaking to you on the lead up to the premiere of my documentary. After that, and all hell broke loose, we left for a mini vacation. And during that mini vacation, there was the big shutdown. So we got literally locked out of the country for a year. We were gone for 10 months. Yeah, not even able to be here in America. So we were out of America for 10 months, which was actually it was a forced vacation for a very long, extended forced vacation. But we managed to stay safe. During the pandemic, we've gotten COVID twice.
And survived.
And survived just fine, actually, quite healthily, thank God. But that's due to my wife's rigid health practices and programs. But the key for you and what I do, there is a cheat. There is one cheat that is acceptable. And I hate saying this because Courtney hates it when I give this secret away. But for people like you and I who may be a little bit resistant to something that tastes too healthy and doesn't have any appetizing qualities to it, shall we say, you can take one raw apple and squeeze one raw apple into your juicing. So you juice the raw apple along with the celery and you mix it in, and that actually cuts the harshness of the taste a little bit. It softens it. It makes it a little bit sweeter, just enough to give you enough for your palate to digest it. So if you need to do that, that's what I do. That's how I get it down. I still haven't drunk it raw, however you want to pronounce it, but I haven't done it raw yet myself. So I do the one raw apple in it every day. That's my out. That's my excuse, and I get away with that. And it seems to still work quite effectively.
Yeah, he loves the organic Fuji apple with it because it's really sweet variety and actually adds to the flavor compound of the celery. Ideally, you want to gradually wean it out, but if you're sensitive to the taste of celery, then that's a great option because it's all, of course, better to get the celery in than not in at all. So
perfect. And I'm just going to add one more suggestion for those who want natural protection against COVID, and that's meditating. And I know both of you do it, and the studies are really clear right now that meditating actually helps.
Absolutely. Positive thought in general, right? Positive mental attitude, positive belief system, and a spiritual connection always are going to get you a lot further than a negative set of ideals or thinking processes. So let me say that, yes, of course, you're right with that. Positive mental attitude always goes a long way. But our regimen, just to give it to you in a nutshell, that what we did every day during COVID, leading up to COVID, when we heard that the infection was spreading and it was everywhere, and we knew that we would possibly be in contact with it, we started doing the celery juice every day, vitamin B12, again from the Vimergy,
yes,
zinc sulfate, again from the Vimergy. And that was those three items together every day. You do what's called zinc shock therapy,
yes,
and you do it in liquid droplets to the back of your throat. You hold it in the back of your throat for like 20 seconds. Again, doesn't taste great at all, but don't do it on an empty stomach because it will make you nauseous. You got to eat some food with it. So you drink the celery juice on the empty stomach first thing in the day, right? And with some lemon or apple rather. And you can also do that at night. If you want to save your celery juice for the end of the day, that's what I do. I just don't eat anything before I go to bed. And then when I'm really hungry before bed, I drink the celery juice and that's it. And, you know, you may have to wake up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night if you do it that way. But besides that, you know, it's kind of a lot easier that way because then you don't have to have it first thing in the morning. But either way.
It's great. Thank you for that bonus.
3 times a day, zinc 3 times a day, and then the B12. And if you do that as a regimen, and also you can do, what's the vitamin C? Ester C, it's called?
The Micro C by Vimergy. There's another therapy, and these are actually protocols that Anthony William, the medical medium, has on his website, and you can look them up. You can Google medical medium zinc shock therapy and learn how to do that, and medical medium vitamin C shock therapy and learn how to do that one too, which is another really great one, using 2 capsules of the vitamin C, a cup of warm water, 2 tablespoons of raw honey or 2 teaspoons of raw honey, and 1 freshly squeezed orange in there, and drinking that actually helps get enough vitamin C into your body to really shock whatever viral or bacterial compounds you may have going on in your body.
So there you go.
That's a good treatment. So that's a good treatment if you are getting sick, right? If you are getting sick, that's the one.
Yes.
On the onset. Okay, there you go. I didn't know we'd be talking about this, but I'm super glad we are. There's a bonus for my listeners. And now I'm asking, what's new? Actually, I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know if I did this last time. I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. Okay. And when you call me, it says, who are you and what do you want? So who are you and what do you want, Corey?
Wow, that's a little harsh, isn't it? Jeez.
It's bold.
It's direct.
It's very direct. Who am I? Well, I am a messenger of God's will, or at least I try my very hardest to be. And what I want is healing for the planet. What I want is peace and love for the planet. And what I want is for all of us to kind of check ourselves before we wreck ourselves and get into a higher level of positive thinking so that we can end all the negativity on this planet. And there's a lot of it right now. We are in deep. So the best way to do that, from what I have surmised, the best way to do that is to continue spreading love and positive energy with a positive belief system, blocking out by putting blinders on If you can see that. Wait, there we go. Blinders. There we go.
Very good. I like the way you use that. I don't know if I can do
blinders to the negativity, that's out there. And it's hard to do because it's kind of festering in our ears, festering in our eyes, coming through social media, coming through the news, the media, the paparazzi. I mean, it's everywhere, right? So you have to pick and choose. We've got people like you out there who are doing the right thing, who are spreading positive love and light. And that's what it's all about. And that's why we chose to come back to your show, because we had a positive experience last time. And we know that that's your mission as well. So we are all about it. We're all about finding the correct avenues, the correct pathways, because there's so much bullying going on out there. There's so much trash talk. There's so much negative energy being expensed all the time. And what we need to do before the whole world goes completely spiritually bankrupt, because you're just constantly spending all of this currency that we have inside of ourselves on negative things. Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to import negative agendas into our brain and into our hearts and into our souls? Instead, we can have love. That's the answer, right? So Love Left was the concept for my solution. This was my solution. This is what I can give back to try and bring it back around to a positive conversation. And I put out an album in 1994 called Love Left. And I wrote that album primarily because I had just gotten sober. I got sober technically in 1990. So 90 to 93 was when I was really primarily working on this album. But it actually started with sessions going all the way back to 1986 when I was a sick, lost little puppy. And, at that time, in 1986.
And let me interrupt. Let me interrupt for 1 second. For some people who have not followed your difficult upbringing and past, I don't want to bring up all that stuff, but I just want people to understand that if you're not familiar with Corey Feldman's story, he has been through the fire multiple times with multiple people, with including, parents who forced him to basically slave labor, with producers who violated him in the most horrific ways. And so we're talking to someone who has been through and has every right to not love. And I want to bring that up because it's such an important turning when he just said, I was a lost pup. He had every reason to be a lost pup. Yeah, and I think that I wanted to bring that up.
Thank you for pointing that out, Dr. Marissa. That's absolutely correct. And, Corey's been such a pillar of strength, for me in my healing process, but just to the fact that he's made it out, being somewhat of a targeted individual as he comes forward with all his truth and everything like that. He has been a target, and, just to see him, happy and healthy is such a joy for me too. And it's good that you pointed that out too. So thank you.
Yeah. So it's been a rough upbringing. But, look, I started, it's no secret that I started my life as kind of a slave child. I was working in this business since I was 3 years old. Obviously, we don't make decisions on our future career at 3 years old. What a lot of people don't realize is that I actually started singing before I started acting. A lot of people don't know that. So that's one of the things that is actually uncovered in the brand new documentary titled Corey Feldman, Artist, The Man Behind the Love. And that actual documentary is part of this box set. You get it as part of the box set.
I'm so glad that you're here. We are continuing this journey of discovery and back to love with Corey Feldman, actor extraordinaire and philanthropist, and with his wife, healthy. Body, mind, spirit, soul. So, okay, I cut you off. You were talking about the documentary. So you skipped over that pretty quick. I want to go back. So this is your session.
Right.
The new documentary.
New documentary. So we had one that came out a couple years ago that was like a shocking, tell-all kind of truth documentary. This is a much more kind of upbeat, positive, easygoing softball type documentary, which is just about, my humble beginnings in the music industry, how it all started, how the long journey took place. Because what happened was, we put out some songs a few years ago, as you know, with my band at the time, which was the Angel Band. And we had a big hit with our single Go For It, which went, into the top 40 Billboard charts. We did a few performances on the Today Show. Both of those went viral. So a lot of people thought that, he was acting forever, and then he just decided that he wanted to quit acting and become a musician. And a lot of people falsely believe that narrative because, of course, again, it's agenda driven, and that's what some parts of the media were trying to make people believe. But the truth of the matter, and the reason why we did this documentary, was to show people, no, actually, in fact, I started singing before I started acting. Because as a 3-year-old kid, you can't memorize lines, right? So there's no way for a 3-year-old child to go in and deliver a perfect, delivery of some script, because you can't read those lines. You can't memorize those lines. It's all kind of pretty much impossible. Point. Right. So my mom was very smart at this in her day and thought, well, the best way to get attention is to have you sing at the auditions, because you love music. You're always singing songs. So I'm going to give you some songs to memorize. And she would literally lock me in a room with a record player and say, remember this song. And when this song is done, or you have it memorized, then come out and sing it for me. So I would go into auditions and I would sing. And that's how I would get the parts, because they would be like, oh, what a cute little kid, he sings. And from there, I did a few commercials. But one of the first big TV things I did actually was a musical variety show with Dick Van Dyke when I was about 5 or 6 years old. And it was called How to Eat Like a Child, which we also show a clip from in the documentary. So you can see that this has been a very integral part of my career all the way through. But it was at 11 years old, when I watched Michael Jackson on Motown 25, that I truly became inspired to start dancing. And then when I started dancing, I would do that publicly and get a lot of attention, a lot of positive acclimates for it. And I found myself at 11 or 12 years old, 13, somewhere in there, performing at the Rose Bowl. I'm doing like a charity benefit show, and it's like everybody had to come out and do a song or do a number or whatever. And I came out and I lip synced Billie Jean. And I remember standing there in front of whatever it was, 40,000, 50,000 people performing this. And everybody loved it and they were eating it up. And I thought, there's something here. But I don't think I could ever have a music career lip syncing other people's songs. So obviously I've got to teach myself how to sing properly. I've got to teach myself how to write and produce music properly. I've got a long journey ahead of me. But that's when the journey really started. And by 15 years old, just a few years later, I had written and recorded my first song.
And there's more of Corey Feldman where that came from, as he tells us how this new offering came about and all that is in the Love Box set. So don't go away. When we come back, it's Corey and Courtney Feldman here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News radio station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5. And here are Courtney and Corey Feldman. talking about his new offering, the Love Left 2.1, how this new offering came about, and all that is in the Love Box set. And let me tell you, it's a lot. That's available at www.coreyfeldman.net. So listen in and enjoy.
And that song happened to be a reflection of the pain that I had endured as an abused child. And it was also a big cry for help. So I actually went and shot and wrote and directed a 15-minute short film around the song, which was called Runaway. And it was about a runaway kid who ends up on the street and ends up getting taken in by this pimp type person who kind of kidnaps the kid and basically through a series of events tries to force him into a sex trafficking ring through the use of drugs. And the crazy thing was, I actually went through all this kind of stuff.
I was just about to say that.
Not, I was never pimped out or anything, but I was abused by pedophiles, right? And even worse is 2 of the future pedophiles were in the music video with me because it was before they had abused me and I didn't realize they would become my abusers. So It's all there, this time capsule shot in my father's apartment when I was only 15 years old, and it's a virtual cry for help. It's a kid with long hair, wearing all black, singing a song called Runaway, where literally in the lyrics I say, if you end up on the streets, you'll end up dead from crack. Because I knew at that time, if a kid runs away from home, he's going to end up on drugs. He's going to end up with these bad influences and all this kind of stuff. So I never released it, though. I shot the video. It was a 15-minute video. I lost it through the years. I lost all of the film with all of the speaking parts, the scripted scenes and all the dialogue, but somehow managed to retain just the music video part of it. So you can actually watch that music video part of it right now. I decided to put it up for everyone to see. It's I don't want to say streaming, but it's on the platform of YouTube. It's there for everyone for free. So you can go to my YouTube channel and you can check it out. The song is called Runaway. The video is called Runaway. And it's actually one of the features on my box set because the box set is a 6-disc collection and it features all of this work that I started in 1986 and did all the way up through 1993 or 94 when the first album was originally released. So Love Left was the name of my first album. I did put it out in 1994, but by the time I put that album out, I had already recorded 2 or 3 albums worth of material. But for whatever reason, I never put it into an album, mostly because in those days, teen stars or child actors didn't get a music career as well. There was no Hannah Montana. There was none of that kind of stuff. There was no avenue for triple threats because in the 80s, it was actually very frowned upon. And it was kind of thought of as like, well, if you're trying to be a singer, once you're known as an actor, then you're going to be seen as a joke and nobody will take you seriously. So unfortunately, that was the period of time that I was raised in. And so I tried to get a record deal many times along the way, but I never was able to achieve that. So I just kept making music. And what would happen is I would end up using some of that music in various films of mine. So the first single that I actually put out was in 1989, and it was a vinyl single for the Dream a Little Dream soundtrack. And it was co-written and co-produced with Michael Damian. If you remember Michael Damian, he was
that name sounds familiar.
Soap opera star who is also a singer and musician who actually got the #1 song with our Dream a Little Dream soundtrack with Rock On. I don't know if you remember that. Hey kids, rock and roll, rock on. Yeah, that was him. So him and I co-wrote and co-produced a song called Something in Your Eyes for the same motion picture soundtrack for Dream a Little Dream. And then he had the #1 single called Rock On from that same soundtrack. So we put out our single in 1989 on vinyl. And that was the very first release that I ever had, but still never got an actual album out. So that one fell by the wayside. Then I did all the music for Dream a Little Dream 2, Rock and Roll High School Forever, a movie Corey and I did called National Lampoon's Last Resort. So all of these films featured my music, but they were never released on any album. So what we did is we took this box set as an opportunity to give fans the first chance to actually hear all of this music that I created through the years, to see the videos, the live performances, because I was out there doing live concerts. I was doing all kinds of stuff. But unfortunately, because I never had a record deal, because I never got top 40 hits, a lot of people who were not really hardcore fans that followed and, closely watched everything I was doing, they never knew about it. They never knew it existed.
Yeah.
So
I never knew about this.
Right. So this
is all new to me.
This is why we felt we needed a documentary to show everybody the truth. So inside this box set that you see around us, which we've spent years.
Very nice, by the way. Beautiful colors. I love it.
Thank you.
I love beautiful colors. I like that. I know you did it all yourself.
Not all myself. Well, God, no.
Oh.
I mean, look, I have some ideas and concepts. Oh, yes. It was all Courtney. She did everything. No, we have very talented artists that we work with. In fact, the guy who actually drew all of the art. So wait here, let me get out of my own way. So yeah, the pictures that you see around me and all of that, all the drawings, all the illustration was done by a very talented artist by the name of Howard Tiemann. Now, Howard Tiemann actually created the artwork for my very first CD, which you can see here. Whoops, there it is, Love Left. So this was the original drawing and the original artwork on the original CD, which, as you can see, was very cheaply done because I didn't have the money for full color printing in those days. We did it as an independent album. We only pressed 1,000 of them. And, I was giving them away because nobody even cared and nobody would buy them back in the day. It was an independent label back before independent labels were a thing. And there was no internet. There was no way to stream it yourself or put it out on iTunes or anything like that. There was no YouTube. So very few people even knew it existed in the beginning. But then, of course, with technology being what it is and all of these videos becoming videos on YouTube and those videos going viral, we ended up getting an entire cult following for the films that had my music in it and then the music that I put out. And eventually this little album right here became like a collector's item because everybody was like, how do we get a copy? Next thing you know, that album sold out. There's no more copies other than this kind of dilapidated one here that still exists. There's maybe a few more that I've got in my vaults, but there's no more available for sale. So we decided now that people actually know this material, wouldn't it be great to re-release it in a meaningful way? So what happened was, and I know this is a long story, so forgive me.
That's okay.
But you remember the rock legend Don Dokken? Remember Dokken? There was a band called Dokken in the 80s.
Sing it.
I don't want to. It's not my music. I don't want to take away somebody else's art.
I have photographic memory, but I'm out of disk space. I have no more space.
Well, Rockin' with Dokken was his logo. Like you saw the bumper stickers on everybody's cars in Los Angeles in the 80s. So
okay. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So So anyway, Dokken was a huge band, and Don Dokken was the lead singer, instrumentalist, writer, producer for his own music, and he produced tons of artists throughout the 80s, 90s, and aughts. And Don Dokken and I were having a conversation, and he had said, I've been busy working on baking all my tapes and re-releasing this stuff. And I said, what do you mean baking your tapes? And he said, yeah, well, there's a process to upgrade the old school Ampex tapes because it was all done in a very different system back in those days. Of course, we had to do everything with analog and actual 2-inch tapes. So we had these actual 2-inch tapes, and the way that you refurbish them, if it's possible, because a lot of times they get so badly damaged, they're not, refurbishable. But he was able to actually tell me about this process that he had just gone through where he baked them in an oven. I said, what do you mean bake them in an oven? Doesn't that destroy the tape? And he said, crazy. No. He said, you set it to a certain temperature and you only bake it for a certain amount of time, just long enough to get all the little magnets to jump back into place. So he told me about this process, and I was like,
was he on something? No.
Like mind blowing.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant, right? So apparently there's like forensic specialists that you can get to come in and clean the tape, and they have to use special chemical processing and all this kind of stuff, but it can be done. So it's a very long and arduous process. But that said, I decided to take the journey and jump in with both feet. So we managed to take all these giant, reels of tape and digitize them and transpose them and transfer them into actual individualized tracks so they could be processed through a current digital processing computer, and then individualized and then remixed and remastered. So we were actually able to take every one of those original songs and do a brand new mix on it. And while we were going through that process, I then found that there were all of these old songs on there that I'd never released. So I'm like, well, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe we should do a little bit more than just a remix remaster. Maybe we'll add a couple, songs that were never released. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll add one or two new songs, because that way, whenever an artist puts out like a greatest hits or whatever, they always add like one or two new songs, right? So I thought, okay, we'll do one or two new songs. And then the lockdown happened. And when the lockdown happened, here I am sitting idly for a year with nothing else to do. And I thought, well, maybe I can start sneaking little bits of my studio here to my secret hideaway. So I did that over a few weeks, a few months. And next thing you know, I built a whole studio where we were stuck in the Caribbean. And we ended up putting together an entire new album worth of material. So between it all, once I got through with all of this, we ended up with a 6-disc set, 4 CDs, 2 DVDs. The 4 CDs consist of the first album, Love Left, remixed and remastered in 2021. The second disc is called Karaoke Cabaret, and it is literally an instrumental version of some of my classics, or at least classics to the fans that follow me and know this stuff, right? So songs like Honesty, which was like this big viral hit that I did in Canada's Much Music. So we took that song and we're giving just the instrumental to that song, for example. Or It's So Simple, which is one of the first songs that I ever wrote, and I performed it in a after-school special with Drew Barrymore and Tatum O'Neal back in 1987, and we actually have a clip from that in the box set as well, so you can see the first time I ever sang it anywhere on television. But so things like that.
It's such a pretty song too. It's so simple.
Very powerful.
I had the privilege of performing it with Corey when we went to Taiwan. And performed at Supreme Master Qinghai, and that was a huge honor too. So that's also available on YouTube. But
right, but we actually have the nice high def, clean 4-camera version of it from the studio on part of the extras as well. But I'll get to that. So basically, the second disc is the instrumental. It's about, 10 or 11 songs. And again, it's the songs that the hardcore fans know really well, so they'll be able to sing along. And to help them, we've also included a 50-page full-color teen magazine, which we created from scratch using unreleased photos, rare photos and images of me with different artists, different musicians in the studio, working, live performance shots. And everybody pops up throughout this box set. Anybody that was basically famous and an icon in the 80s was somehow involved one way or another. So whether it's Michael Jackson, Drew Barrymore, Alfonso Ribeiro, who actually performed the first demo of It's So Simple with me as a duet, which we've never released, and we're releasing for the first time as part of this box set. Live performances. He
sounds amazing on it, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's incredible.
Actually got quite a talented, incredible, remarkable voice as well.
Singing voice, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. What's your favorite, Courtney? What's your favorite person besides him on the set?
On the album?
Besides Corey. Yeah, besides Corey.
I really like Mickey because he's performs the Dream a Little Dream song with Corey, and it's so amazing. It's just
okay. So Mickey Thomas from Starship is what she's talking about. You know the band Starship, right?
Yeah,
he built the city all
it's
that,
hard to choose a favorite.
Yeah.
But like, I really love that moment where Corey and him like perform this classic song.
So Mickey Thomas, who actually sang the title track for Dream a Little Dream, came back and we did something called Dream a Little Dream 30, which is a tribute to the fallen artists from that film. So unfortunately, we lost a lot of the actors and even the director and main writer from the film, Mark Rocco. So Mickey and I got together. We did a reboot of the song for a modern twist of it. And, you know, I was lip syncing his voice dancing down the bleachers in the original film. So what we did is we remade the song that I was lip syncing because my voice wasn't strong enough to really sing in those days. So I had to pretend to sing, and I did a much simpler song with Michael Damian. But nowadays, now that I've got, you know, a little bit more skills, I guess you would say, I was able to keep up. So Mickey and I did it as a duet, and it's an awesome, really fun remake of the song, as well as there's actually like a 5.5-minute version on the new album because there's like a kind of a jazz quartet version where Mickey sings it the same way he did back in 1987, and he's flawless. I mean, his voice is impeccable.
It sounds so good.
So there's a lot of artists involved in just the old stuff. But then we also have this brand new album. And the brand new album is called Love Left 2, Arm Me With Love. Okay, and it's 18 songs. It's a brand new album with 18 new songs, including the Dream a Little Dream remake, a song that I put out right around the whole inauguration and all that crazy stuff on January 6th.
Insurrection.
The insurrection. Well, it wasn't. Right. Well, it was meant to be an inauguration, but it turned into an insurrection. Okay, all right. We all know what we're talking about.
Yes, we do. That's a good one. That's a good one. I got to remember that.
So the song is called Rockin' Revolution, and that was actually the first single from this album, as well as You Are Free, which was the title track for the My Truth documentary. So all of those songs have already been released, but the new single, which is coming out in the next, I don't know, few weeks, I guess, is actually called Comeback King and features Curtis Young.
Oh my gosh.
And so Curtis Young is awesome. Awesome. He is a rapper who is actually the son of Dr. Dre. And this is kind of like his breakout performance. And he's amazing. He is so awesome.
He sounds so good. He sounds like so much like his father.
Well, besides that, he's just a very talented and beautiful human, by the way. Him and his wife, Monarch, who we spend a lot of time with. Both of them, they stay at our house. They're great friends of ours.
I'd love to have him on my show. I'd love
you should definitely have him.
For sure.
I will refer him for sure.
That would be great. Did you see my little interview with YG?
No.
The rapper YG? Yeah. I got a little.
Please send it to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
Did you guys get down?
Yeah. We got down. On the red carpet.
Good. I like it. Well, yeah.
I loved his relationship with his mom.
His dad's going to be playing the Super Bowl in January. So it's kind of like the timing of all this is pretty crazy, right?
Yes, it's crazy. And we're already out of time. And I have to say, because I know there's more. This is not Love Left 2.1. This is 2.1, 3.1, 4.1, 5.1, and you're getting 6.6, 6.9. You're getting so much. You're giving so much. And I guess I would call it the hashtag COVID.
Marissa, I didn't tell you the best part. Advanced technology that's never been seen has been used to create this box set. Yes. We have, for the first time ever in history, a hologram which pops out with every box. So when you purchase the box set, there's a little UPC code that comes with it. I'm sorry, not UPC, QR code. My bad.
Yes, it's a QR code.
Take that back. QR code.
The ones you scan with your iPhone.
Right. You know? So you scan it with your iPhone, and a little mini Corey, we call it hologram Corey, pops out on top of the box set, and I dance across the box set and give you an introduction. So that's pretty cool too. Very exciting. But hologram Corey, first time technology, has never been used by any artist in this way, and we're doing it first, and it's really, really exciting. So hopefully everybody gets a copy of this box set.
I'm so proud of you, both. Mazel tov on this. I know it's going to sell like hotcakes. For those of you who haven't seen the
Mazel
L'chaim, mazel tov, mazel tov. You know, I have an Uncle Moishi and an Aunt Penny and an Aunt Ethel. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. my mom was adopted by a Russian Jewish woman, unofficially.
Well, happy belated Hanukkah to you then.
Yes, to you, Hanukkah. So www.coreyfeldman.net is where you get it. I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you give one set as an Asian Oprah giveaway? And the first person.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Thank you. The first person, go to drmarissa.life and put down Corey Love Left 2.1. We'll get that box set because he's so awesome. And I love giving stuff away. You get a box set. You get, just one box set. So
unfortunately, it's very, very expensive to make. And we're only making 500 of them. So that means now there's only 499 left, but it is available for pre-sale right now up until Christmas, and it comes out on December 22nd. So that's the street date. Not that you'll find it in any stores because we haven't done any physical distribution, but pre-sales are up until December 22nd. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen. So get them fast.
It'll sell out.
Limited number of them available. We're only making, I think it's 250 of them.
Just 500.
500 of them.
Okay.
And so, they're, basically going to be, once they're gone, they're gone.
Right. Exactly.
That's cool.
Kind of like this interview. Once it's over, it's over.
Until the next 9.6 you release and you come back on and talk about that. But I am just so delighted to have once again one of my favorite guests. Here's some applause. For all that you do and all that you are, all that I am grateful for. We remember this part. Peace in. Peace out.
Peace in and peace out.
Peace out. World peace.
World
through
peace.
Inner peace. Through inner peace.
Yeah.
I like it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Peace
Thank you
in,
so
peace
much.
Out, world peace through inner peace.
That's my thing. That's my
your
thing.
peace, and you're sticking to it.
I am. and you're not a piece of shiitake. You're a piece of mind, piece of heart, wonderful human beings. Again, Dr. Marissa's beneficial presence on the planet to Corey Feldman, Courtney Feldman. I know that you will go out and get the box set and celebrate the life of Corey Feldman and Courtney Feldman. Thank you for tuning in today for show number 591. Here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Thanks. Bye.
Marissa,
God bless.
Love you.
Love you too. What an amazing couple. I think Corey Feldman has done an amazing job, not just as an actor, but now in his music career. I hope you support him. Go to www.coreyfeldman.net, where you will get the Love Left 2.1 box set to enjoy and to remember how important it is to celebrate the love, the laughter, the joy, and the music of your life. And this is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room during the pandemic, reminding you that it is all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go forth and multiply the goodness that you are, and have the best day ever. See you tomorrow.